Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. First of all, I'm sorry about what happened with last week's Walking Wednesday. Basically, I recorded it in two parts because something happened to my actual recording and it turned itself off automatically or something like that. I'm not sure. Never happened before, and hasn't happened since. But yeah, so that's why only part 2 came out, because part 1 for some reason wouldn't upload. It was only a minute longer than the first one, but I don't know if it was my internet or something, but it never would have gone out on time, and you know, Walking Wednesday has to be on Wednesday, so yeah, I just scrapped the whole thing altogether. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this a quick one because I've been sick recently, so I'm honestly not too keen on being out of bed right now. I don't know if you can hear if my voice is going or not. I think it sounds a bit under the weather, but not too bad. Yes, but yeah, it's mostly just my head. I genuinely feel just quite weak and limp a lot of the time. So I'm not very you know. See? Whatever. In terms of this week, the day after that, after last Wednesday, which would be Thursday, I don't know why I said the day after last Wednesday, day after last Walking Wednesday, obviously, was actually the original submission deadline for a 5-minute screenplay with no dialogue, which was a university assignment. It got delayed till what was it? Oh yeah, it was Monday at noon, so it wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah, it's always good to have a bit of extra time to go over and refine your ideas. I had the dumb idea to actually edit it on Final Cut and then not realise that all of the margins were wrong, and therefore whatever appeared as a page on no, not Final Cut, Final Draft, whatever appeared as a page on Final Draft, which is the industry standard for a minute, would not appear so on the Microsoft Word cover sheet, which is where it had to be copied and pasted to in order to actually be submitted. So then I fixed the margin issue and it was okay. And my shoelace is coming undone again. I've realised that there's a slight flaw with these shoelaces too, and it is that maybe I'm just not tying them properly. If you remember before, I had very small shoelaces, but at least they stay together. I don't know. I'll have to think of something. I don't know. Or just use the other shoes altogether. Maybe they're more trouble than they're worth. So yeah, in terms of actual projects, it's one thing that whenever I'm not asleep, I'm either watching YouTube or making YouTube just to relax myself. But yeah, in this instance, I've been mostly working on the audio of the Mutant Girl Season 2 Episode 1. So, but because actually Stromanov has run into a few production delays, including that one of the actresses got grounded, and she was also the head HD skin designer. So we're kind of stuck there. We could do the standard, the SD skin designs, so to actually have them when she comes back. But I haven't been coordinating that. I've got a few other projects as well. I started doing stuff with that green screen I mentioned before, and that's been going well enough. I still have to figure out if it actually has a good enough chroma key, because I do appreciate that it is a very fine material and therefore doesn't actually show up the best, although I'll have to figure that out for myself. Maybe I'll just appear as a bit of a spectral faded image or something, which I suppose wouldn't be too bad. It can be worked with. And then of course there's the Gacha review, and and actually another gacha review as well. There's a solo project that actually is going to end up being my longest video ever if I leave it in just one part. So there's that. I'm debating whether I should do that or not, because I was in a webinar this time last week actually, and that one was all about a channel review by these very successful YouTubers and viral experts, and they were talking about all these different things that I really shouldn't really list here because there were so many for so many different people. But I'm thinking that there's probably some way to actually apply them for myself. I mean, the logical thing, I guess, to do right now would be to take a break and focus on the play that I've actually written to submit to the festival, which happens in a month's time. But I don't know if I want to take a break altogether, because now that, you know, the ball is rolling with all of the gacha voice acting auditions, which, by the way, only take a while to do, and therefore that's why I keep auditioning for them. Then there's also the matter of the fact that I've been doing better than average over the last 2 months, and I kind of want to keep the ball rolling, because that happens usually around the New Year-ish time, and then for that first 2 months or so that I end up doing quite well, and then it just slips or something like that. So, of course, and also with Stromanov now and the Mutant Girl, because there's so many people involved in both of those projects that it's something that I can't really stop, even though it appears that Jaden has actually resigned, or I'm taking it as a resignation. She decided to leave the server to do a restart, which I don't get why people on Discord even do that, because, I mean, what exactly are you restarting? Just your Discord life in general, and therefore none of your contacts, even the ones that you were using to make a show, are valid anymore. And yes, I know I said that I wasn't going to talk about private company squabbles or something like that, but that genuinely annoys me. And yeah, if people are looking forward to the show, and I haven't mentioned this to anyone in the actual company, then they have the right to know. So you know what, I'm just keeping this in. So yes, the Stromanov is probably the last Jaden-related projects that I'm going to end up doing. Oh well. It was interesting while it lasted. She had some good ideas, but had no clear business mind or work ethic or how to actually execute those ideas. So you know what? I'm not doing that. Speaking of that play, it's one that I started writing about 4 years ago, and I finished 1 year ago. But that's because I took breaks in between. And yeah, we've cut it down to a reasonable size in terms of what can actually be achieved, but it's still very long, and we still need at least 8 people to actually act in it, potentially 7. So I'll have to start putting notices out in places. I mean, to be honest, Dana, who's directing it, has actually reminded me that we only have about a month's time before it's actually supposed to be in, so I don't know. In terms of the big epic play with the costume ideas or whatever, that may not be in time for the festival. But to be honest, if it's not in time for the festival, we should just do it and put it on anyway. I mean, it's not like we have to make it to the festival, it's just that that's a guaranteed audience. It might be better if we actually be able to choose our venue or something, it depends. I don't know, I'm honestly not in too much of a promoting mood right now. In terms of, I don't know, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. That's indeed the problem. What else? I think that's mostly it. I don't think we did any set building this week for Stroganoff. I think that kind of stagnated for a while, and then for the music girl, just kind of oh yeah, my computer seems to have some sort of malware as of yesterday or something, where it keeps freezing on me, or maybe it's just that I have too many cluttered files or something. It's hard to say for certain. I think I have a lot of duplicate files or something like that. I have to check the disk space or something. But that's not good. I have to keep on turning it off and on again for it to actually work, and then it only works for a few minutes. So I've moved my stuff onto another laptop, but the problem is my editing software is on the other one. So I'm gonna have to try and actually get that fixed or something. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun thing to do. But all in due time. The audio has been transmitted over from the Mutant Girl season 2 episode 1, and that it will be processed as normal. Oh, I guess also I should say that there was in terms of writing, there was actually a mini-series that Aidan has suggested, and yeah, actually it's a pretty good one. It connects to the Mutant Girl, and that's all I'm really going to say about it. But it's something that we've been working on because of the characters that are yet to be introduced, so I'm not going to say much about them. I suppose that it's all coming full circle now for the Music Girl, because during the break time or the hype time when Shani was talking about writing season 2 or something, that's when a lot of the new casting started to appear, and Aidan, I think, just appeared as a former fan of the show, and then, well, former fan, he still is a fan of the show, but yeah, now he's in the show, so he just kind of appeared as that way, and now it's kind of all neatly compiling together or something. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm not sure I'm going with anything right now, so I'm going to go back into my room, and I'm probably going to either sleep some more, go on the Facebook group chat or something and advertise the play a bit, or I'm going to edit. Maybe a little bit of combination of all of them. Who knows? But something that's not this. So, as for right now, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And on that note, until next time, farewell. Oh, just smack the phone, that's not good.